I walked into the boss's office and realized my coworker had already told everyone that the reason the client's shipment was late was because I had forgotten to sign the final authorization form. I stood there with the signed document in my hand, watching as my boss, Mr. Miller, shook his head in disappointment, while my colleague, Kevin, looked at the floor with a fake expression of sympathy. This was a total lie, as I had handed the form to Kevin 2 days ago so he could deliver it to the loading dock on his way out. I felt a wave of hot, jagged anger in my chest as I realized that Kevin had sat on the paperwork and was now using me as a shield to protect his own reputation. Kevin and I had been on the same level for a long time, but he had recently been struggling with his productivity and was clearly looking for a way to avoid another reprimand from management. He knew that I was the more reliable employee, so he figured that if he blamed me, the boss would assume it was just a rare mistake rather than a sign of incompetence. I looked at Kevin and saw the way he was avoiding my gaze, and I realized that he had been planning this since the moment he realized he had missed the deadline. It was a cowardly move that put my job on the line just to save his own ego from a minor setback. Actually, Kevin, I have the carbon copy right here with the timestamp from Tuesday morning, I said, sliding the paper onto the desk between them. I looked at Mr. Miller and told him that I had personally handed the authorization to Kevin at 10 o'clock, and that he had promised to walk it down to the dock immediately. Kevin's face went from pale to a dark, angry purple as he realized I hadn't come to the meeting empty-handed. He started stammering about how I must have given him a different form or that he had lost it in the shuffle of a busy day, but the evidence was right there in black and white. If you lost it, why'd you tell Mr. Miller that I never signed it in the first place, I asked, leaning in so Kevin had to look at me. The silence in the office was deafening as Mr. Miller looked from the form to Kevin's sweating face. It was clear that the boss was more upset about the lie than the late shipment itself, and I could see the trust in his eyes for Kevin evaporating in real time. I didn't need to say another word. The situation had shifted from a performance issue on my part to a character issue on Kevin's part, and he had no way to spin the truth. Mr. Miller told Kevin to leave the room and wait for him in the break room, and then he apologized to me for jumping to conclusions without checking the facts first. I accepted the apology, but I made it clear that I could no longer work on the same projects as Kevin if he was going to be that dishonest about our collaboration. Kevin was eventually moved to a different shift where he had no contact with my clients, and his career at the company never recovered from the hit his reputation took that day. I didn't feel a sense of triumph. I just felt a deep sense of relief that I had been organized enough to protect myself from a snake in the grass. I learned that you can never assume someone has your back, even if you've worked with them for years. And that documentation is the only thing that matters in a professional setting. I keep a folder of every interaction now, and I never hand over a document without getting a signature or an email confirmation in return. I've moved up in the company since then, and I make sure that the people who work for me know that honesty is the most important value in our department. I'm doing great, and I've learned that the best way to deal with someone who shifts the blame is to stand firm in the truth until they have nowhere left to hide.